The title information we see in row 1 on this worksheet called Merge Center might look better if it were centered across columns A through I. Now, what some people might do is type this entry and then put in some leading spaces. That's one option. Another approach might be somehow move this data, which is currently actually in cell A1, move it over to C1 and see how that looks, or maybe over to D1. But by far the best way to do this is simply to use the feature called Merge and Center. Now, before using it, suppose as we're looking at this worksheet, we're focused on the idea that the columns are unnecessarily wide. Let's adjust all of them. Maybe click in the upper left-hand corner. And as we double-click a boundary between columns, and this is the most effective way to do it, double-click, column A is way too wide. Of course, it's based on the fact that this data is in cell A1. So I'm going to press Control-Z to undo that. Let's instead center this first. Now, the term we see is merge and center. Click the drop arrow if you wish. We want to merge and center, meaning make all those cells be one cell and center the data at the same time. That's exactly what happens. And if we add more text or take out text, this text is going to be centered within that range. And now there is no B1 or C1, D1, etc. in this worksheet. There's one A1. And if we want to readjust our columns now, Excel in effect ignores cell A1, and if we click in the upper left corner, double-click a column boundary, any one of these, it will readjust the column widths of all of these cells and keep that centered merged look in cell A1 the same, like that. So you see what's happening. Now, occasionally what you might want to do is to use this feature vertically. You don't see this very often, but it might bring out this data a little bit better. If we were to put the word expenses, move it from its current location just by dragging it to here, and then rotate this by way of the orientation button. How about rotate the text up, and then consider centering this across all these cells. Merge and center. And then within this cell, let's put the data this way, and then make the column narrower. And then we could add a color if we wanted also, possibly to draw that out a little bit better, something like that. So you can also merge cells this way as well, much less common. Now, I'm going to go back to this data here and unmerge it simply by clicking the button. It's unmerged. It looks as if we might have wanted to do cell A2 as well, make it centered. So let's highlight both of these and see what happens. If we try merge and center, we get a message saying merging cells only keeps the upper left cell value and discards the other value. So if we were to do this, and I will do it, it threw away the other part of the title. So let's undo that. We can achieve the objective by selecting these cells first, let go of that left mouse button, hold down the Control key, and select these cells. So it's as if we're selecting two separate ranges. Then we can do the merge and center together. So sometimes you might want to achieve it that way. So the button has good uses. It's primarily used for titles, and occasionally you might want to use it vertically, as we saw in the example in column K.